everyone, and a very warm welcome to you from the city of North Bay in Ontario, Canada, and the Ford World Women's Curling Championship 2018. This part of the world is all about the great outdoors in winter and in the summer. Lots and lots of things to do in this part of Canada. But we're indoors here at the Memorial Gardens Sports Arena to watch the best of the women's game. There's the team marching in for session 7 of this 12-game round robin, and our featured matchups. This one is Canada against China. Canada, one of 3 unbeaten teams here. China, just the 1 win so far. I'm Alison Walker, and alongside me for live commentary on this one, Hans Frauenlob. We'll keep you updated on all the other games going on inside the arena as well, but we will be concentrating on the game between Canada and China. Teams for Canada: the lead player, Dawn McEwen; second, Jill Officer; Caitlin Laws will play third; Jennifer Jones, world champion in 2008, is the skip. So that's the Canada lineup. Here we have China, lead player Yan Hui; second, Jian Jindi; third player Wang Rui; and Jiang Lun is the skip for China. Here are the standings, sitting proudly at the top. Sweden, Olympic gold medalists, on 3-0. Canada, Korea, Russia on 3-1. Japan on 2-1. Italy still in there. Long, long way to go, but 3 teams yet to get off that win mark. Denmark and Scotland. And these are the matchups in session 7. We have Denmark against Germany. Scotland are playing the Czech Republic. It's Canada against China in our featured game, and Japan versus the United States. So, lots to look forward to. The teams have been introduced to the crowd. And a quick word with Hans before we get going here. Canada, clearly one of the favourites, Hans. Have they been tested thus far, unbeaten?
Well, to be brutally honest, no, they haven't, Alison. And good afternoon, everybody. Pretty lively crowd here at the Memorial Gardens. It should be entertaining, supporting their home team. Jennifer Jones and her teammates really not tested at all. They've had convincing wins in every match. And China at 1-2, they'll be looking to really put that first big test to the Canadians this afternoon, Alison.
And when China look at who they're playing next and they look how well Canada have done, what's their psychology, their thinking ahead of the game?
Well, I think for all of the teams here, we've got a 13-team field for the first time at the World Women's Curling Championship. And that means a 12-game round robin. It's a long week. We're now 3 or 4 games in, depending on the team's schedule. And you're starting to think about, it's a bit early to think about playoffs, but you're thinking about the full 12 games. For China, it's having a good performance today, regardless of the outcome, and try to build on that for the rest of the week.
But do you want a team like Canada early in the draw, or do you want them later on when you've got a bit of momentum going? It can work both ways, can't it?
It sure can. And I think you want to catch the Canadians early, to be honest, if you have the chance. Usually Canadian teams get on a roll, or if they're struggling, get it right by the back end of the tournament. For this young Chinese team, we're used to seeing Binyu Wang and the other Chinese representatives. They've got Wang Rui, who competed at the Olympics in mixed doubles, so they've got international experience on this team, but relatively inexperienced compared to other Chinese reps in the past. So for them, it's a learning experience, but a great one. They can play. They can no doubt play. And in a game like this against Canada, there's no pressure. They can just let it all go and don't have any weight of expectation. So I hope they'll play with confidence. They've earned last rock advantage here in the first end. We see the stone colors. Canada will play the red stones, China playing the yellow stones. So even that small thing can be really psychologically helpful. You've already won last rock.
I tell you, what a confidence booster if they could be the first team here to beat Canada. And things can happen in sport.
Too right.
With the underdogs sometimes, so we shall see. It's Canada that will get us underway here in this first end. expect big roars from the crowd when it goes well for Canada. There's Dawn McEwen, she's 37 now, the lead player, 31 years curling, been around a long time, works for the federal government of Canada, and she's not curling, and born in Ottawa and lives in Winnipeg, and part of that Olympic gold medal winning team in 2014 with Jennifer Jones.
Stone. Well, stops just short of the rings. If that's touching the rings, it's not in the free guard zone area. So the players can call for a measure in that situation if they're genuinely uncertain if it's touching the rings. With a bit of an air gap there, so it's in the free guard zone.
Zhang Hui, she's just 22. And been curling for 3 years. This is a steep learning curve for her here for sure. Plays out of Changchun Curling Club in China. And Tai Chi is one of the ways she chooses to relax.
Always looks like a really relaxing activity. I've never really gotten the graceful arm movements of Tai Chi, but I have been to China a number of times, and you do see it in the parks. Groups practicing Tai Chi, it's just relaxing just to look at it.
Yeah, there's definitely something in it. Second stone for Dawn McEwen. She's got a gold, silver and a bronze from the Worlds over the years, as well as that Olympic gold in 2014. So very, very experienced team. But still hungry, Hans, for more success, aren't they?
Absolutely. Jennifer Jones, 6-time Canadian champion, but with only a single world championship to her name. Looking to add a second one here this week in North Bay to add to her Olympic gold medal.
Jill Officer, 42, curling for 33 years, also lives in Winnipeg.
Inside roll pops out the other side of that center guard. Will be available for Jiang Yilin.
So Jiang Jindi, only 21.
Little inside roll there, very nice. Very nice stone. You have to work to get this one by the guard.
That was all down to that sweeping there. It really was.
I thought she was also through yours. Yeah, Jeff. Good sweeping.
Good sweeping indeed. That stone going all the way out to the Edge of the 12-foot, though, does open things up for China a little bit. They've got last rock here in the first, so a chance to attack around the guard.
Xiao Xindi is from Harbin in China, main center for curling in the country. Also known as Cindy. You can see it beginning to curl now, coming round, coming round.
Bites a piece of the 8-foot, no cover, but awkward angle for Jennifer Jones to deal with. Risk of a jam on the backstone.
I think we play that. I like it. I think that's really hard.
I agree, Jennifer. That is really hard.
You'd have to hit at least 7/8. Yeah, so I'd be probably having to hit what I can see. So let's run it. Play the run.
Yeah, we don't need to take too many risks at this stage, Canada. Just this first end. Caitlin Laws, 29-year-old from Winnipeg.
Oh, no.
Olympic mixed doubles gold medalist with John Morris.
Okay.
That is quite a thing to be able to put on your CV.
The first ever.
First ever. There will only ever be one first ever.
So 2 Olympic gold medals for Caitlin Laws from 2014 with Jennifer Jones, and then with John Morris just a month or so ago in Pyeongchang. Marie Wang was also in Pyeongchang.
Her and Ba Dixing wound up ranked 4th in that event, but they competed with credit.
They had some good wins.
No, very nice stone there as well. China with something going here in the first. They've got the hammer. I like it. We talked right off the top, Allison, about just playing without any fear, and they're going for it. I love it.
Yep, people generally expect them to lose to Canada. Expect most teams to lose to Canada. So that's given just them a little sense of freedom about it. Canada have all the pressure. There's the line on this one. Pretty good.
And a very nice stone there by Caitlin Laws. Almost stuffs it directly behind the guard, but it's still available for China to make a play. About half of it available, I'd say. And then we see on the replay, driving out the Chinese stone. Just looking for a little more action on that raised rock. Sweepers on this one immediately. This one is going to be tight to the guard. Oh, well swept.
Almost back in a similar position to their previous yellow one. Nicely played.
So the 2 is very much in order here for China. Threatening stone for them is still that center guard, however. Canada's going to try to hit and roll behind.
Very right. Probably the most experienced player in this team. First time together at a World Championship in this combination.
And that's a very exciting time. We've got a number of teams here this week. It's their first World Championship as a team.
Or roll behind.
You never forget that experience as an athlete.
And just, the ice is very straight.
For a lot of these teams, especially in Canada, where they're not used to playing in front of crowds like this,
True.
Generally speaking, it's a different vibe to it. And generally the players absolutely love it. So Jennifer Jones skipped for Team Canada.
Whoa.
Crowd liking that one very much indeed.
Yeah, it's a nice roll. Wanted to roll behind the center guard. It actually rolled underneath the Chinese shot rock. Sits in shot rock position itself. So pretty good result here for Jennifer Jones. See the roll in the replay. Wanted to stop it right there behind the center guard.
I was like, please touch the back of this, because otherwise
It did touch the back of that yellow stone and redirected it.
Shot stone though.
Yeah, good result. Forces China now to have to make a play on their own stone to remove the Canadian rock.
Here's Jiang Yun.
Not letting a brush to it. This one has to curl. No. Opportunity lost for China. That probably takes away the chance for the deuce now.
Yep, that was the key shot there, wasn't it?
It sure was.
Oh yeah, this looks like similar.
And you won't get too many against Canada either. Let's just see how close it was. Oh.
Oh, sorry.
Needed to curl another
3 games.
couple of centimeters, and that would have been fine.
That's why I walked into the yellow dressing
So
room too.
speed looked okay here, don't they? I mean, yours was the first one, but it didn't curl at all. I'm afraid to take. I think I need much. I should take less, eh? That's definitely max. Yeah, I think you take a little less if you want. Hair less. Yours just like you just had 8 foot weight and it did nothing. Yeah. So try not to sweep this early. Sweep for the full 12.
Great communications, just verifying the line and the weight that they need to throw.
Should be all there, Jilly. Get off of it, Jill.
I think it's hair light.
This is her last stone then, asking Jill to stay off it.
Top 4.
Sliding.
Top 4.
T, sliding.
T-line. T-line.
Well by the guard.
Back 4.
Yep, they're staying well away from this one. How far is it going to go?
I thought that was going to be a little bit light. Yeah. It slid really good. Oh yeah. I figured it would. It was a lot better.
It does force China to draw for a single point, however.
I hate it out of my hand, so I thought I threw a little bit more than I wanted to, but curl the hair.
Certainly made. Force China just to go for one here. Canada counting 3. Last stone of the first end.
Sweepers jump it out of hand, but now they're backing off. It's pretty good. Maybe a fraction heavy. Yeah, very nice.
Pulling up okay. And China do score. They won a single point there. It was looking promising for a bit more than that for a while until that missed stone, that missed shot. But it is only 1, and after the first end, it's Canada 0, China 1. Second end now of our featured game between Canada and China. China force into one in that first end. And now Canada have the hammer. And we'll see them trying to build something here.
This end will be interesting, Alison. This is where I think China needs to be a bit careful. They're going to throw the center guard, and you know that Jennifer Jones is going to throw a corner guard and attack and build things up. It'll be a real battle of wills here if China says, we'll ignore those corner guards, we'll just go around the centers, and stones start to accumulate. That's how 3s and 4s and 5s happen.
It can just be one shot, one tiny error that can lead to that. And Canada are so good at capitalising on that. But you don't want to be too cautious either if you're China.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's a fine balance. Do what they do it simply, do it well.
So Jiang indeed looking to play now around that center guard. Here we go, game on.
It's also great for this team to measure themselves against a team like Canada, who've been there and done it, just about everything. Huge amount of experience. Give an idea of how far they've come.
Well, that's true. You always want to benchmark yourself against the best. And this Canadian team, certainly one of the favorites in this tournament. There's no doubt about that.
And on home territory, that does make a difference. You always seem for a foreign team to win in Canada is even more impressive.
Well, it definitely is. The home crowd, obviously partisan. They're going to be supporting their home team, and it'd be quite daunting when you're competing against that. Hearing the crowd explode in a roar every time the Canadians do something well.
Okay, Don. That's fine.
So sometimes you feel like you're not only playing against the 4 players on the ice, but you're playing against a few thousand spectators as well.
That one didn't quite curl enough there.
Just a control takeout weight here for Jiang Xindi. Would love a little flop inside behind that center guard. It's going to roll a little bit to the wing instead, but China lies too.
Haven't seen them smile too much, this team from China. They're quite serious on the ice. Hoping to get the other yellow there. Not quite. Spins out to the outside.
Bit of an awkward angle. A little in between there. If you make the double, you're going to lose the shooter. Miss the double. Keeps their stone in the rings. They've got the hammer, so they don't mind that. Round the outside.
Ooh, close.
Oh, good shot. No fear so far from Team China.
A very proactive decision making as well, we're seeing from them.
Is that enough to push it out of the rings? I don't think so. It's
Not
going to stick
quite.
around the back 12 foot. Needed to play that quiet weight, though, to get that stone to the nose and keep their shot rock behind that center guard. Jill Officer.
Wide, so I hooked it. Figured I could afford to.
Brutal honesty there from Jill. A little wide, so I hooked it.
I don't think it was that much of a hook, really.
Well, it's like in golf, if you can hit a controlled hook.
I don't think I've ever hit a controlled hook in golf, but my hooks are very wide.
Oh, very nice shooting from both teams here in the second. Making it look easy, just sneaking by that center guard. Wang Ray.
Nicely played. It's 45 meters or so down there. Long way to throw a stone and be so accurate.
Oh, nice double take out there by Caitlin Laws. That brings a roar from the crowd.
It certainly does. She made it look easy. Absolutely spot on there. 1-2, away they go.
Want to save this shooter. It's going to roll. It's going to pop out the other side of that center guard.
Rolling just a bit too far there from China's point of view.
Not bad for China, though. If they're still shaping up to force the Canadians to score a single point, that would be a moral victory for them. Get the hammer back tied. Looking to roll behind cover. Maybe covering a corner, but should still be available on the outturn side for Jiang Yulin. McEwen Officer just trying to hold the line straight to get that roll to the wing, but not quite enough.
Curls a bit there, eh? Like even Jill's with a 9 curl, so nice throws, nice shots.
Nice look from our overhead camera. At least half of it is available. Not an easy shot by any means. Right in the nose.
Bumper?
Yeah.
I think she can chase over here wherever we
Yeah,
are.
I agree.
I think there.
Okay, you got it.
Jennifer Jones say bumper weight. It's a board takeout weight.
Do I have any air? Oh, it's 7/8.
Do you have any space?
No, I only have 7/8.
Okay.
They're talking
You
about
still like
theirs.
it?
Do you like hack?
I
Yeah.
just think if we roll behind the center, she can chase it. It's just so long.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you want to try
Want to
this?
hear more
or-
ice?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. Like here?
Hack there.
Jennifer Jones going to just play half
Oh,
weight.
that- yeah, just hack.
Wants to go across the nose of the target rock. She actually wants to roll a bit to
I
the
keep going
outside.
7 wide for that guard, so here for that guard.
There's a great look at it.
Like a lot of ice.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jen.
Less ice, yeah.
Jones wants to curl all the way across the nose of that yellow target rock and flop a little bit to the left as we're looking at it, rather than rolling to the center.
Back line.
far as they're going to push it.
Oh.
It leaves the Chinese stone.
I was trying to tap it. Came
Line
off
shot.
a little at the end.
Sorry. Came off quite a bit. Like,
Came off more after the hog line.
yeah.
I think they were just a bit uncertain about that whole
Even
thing.
if we didn't kill it, but I thought it would go. Sorry, I thought I'd hit it harder than that.
I was just trying to get it in the open.
Yeah. No,
They
it's,
were so focused on that
thinking,
outside roll, they forgot about the
even if I
weight.
didn't kill it.
Yeah.
Now China can draw a second stone behind that center guard and absolutely get the force. And if they get the stone into a great place, maybe even think about a steal.
So a couple of stones to go in this second end.
Main thing for China after this stone is to be second shot. Want to be fully buried.
Can they capitalise on that error there from Team Canada and make it very difficult for Jennifer Jones with her final stone?
Pretty good.
So, 2 yellow.
That is the force. Heard Jennifer Jones immediately say hack. That means it's a play for 1.
I think that weight I just threw would be good here. Same time as yours, Jill. They didn't quite kill it, but there's been a couple rocks, so.
And you'd always expect someone of her caliber and experience to make a shot like this.
Be interesting on the weight adjustment. She threw hack on the last shot as well. Wound up throwing backline weight. Now she's saying, I'm going to throw hack weight again. Sometimes mentally, all of a sudden you step the weight up a little bit because you're a bit light with the last one.
Here we go, the last stone of this second end.
Right to it.
That's pretty good.
Nice, Jen.
I'm just looking for the hit here and stick, which it does. And the crowd giving her a round of applause there, making that final shot
11.
to level things up in their feature game here.
I thought I squared mine.
After 2 ends, it's Canada 1, China 1. So numbers so far in our featured game. All about the ones, all about the forces, restricting each other. Not much room for manoeuvre at all in these first couple of ends. Now it's back to China with the hammer. And let's see what they can do with it this time.
Line's decent.
Been pretty
Line's
impressed
good.
with China's play so far in this one, though, Allison. Playing with confidence and really have had the better of the running in both of the ends in this match so far. They've got the hammer again now. Let's see what they can do.
And those first couple of ends, steady stuff from them, so that will give them confidence. As you know, in sport, you've always got to believe, don't you? You've always got to. You can't be beaten before you step out on the sheet.
Absolutely.
And with a little bit of luck and good play, things can happen.
Yeah, sport's full of cliches, but there's one that I quite like. There's a coach that we used to work with came up with. He said, "It's amazing how lucky the well-prepared are."
Yeah, that's very perceptive. And that's not just a philosophy in sport, that's a philosophy in life, isn't it? That's a quote for life.
Absolutely.
This one coming into the rings, coming round now. Just at the top of the button.
Yeah, very nice stone there by Don McEwen. The center guards are overlapped a little bit. It makes it a little bit more difficult for China to tap them forward or move them towards that stone on the button.
Again, we always talk about the positioning of these early stones and how important they are. And you can see that in the last couple of ends, actually. And it ended up both teams being forced to take only one. And that was a lot to do with these lead and second stones.
It's true. Yan Hui from China, probably the least experienced international player on the ice, but so far in this one, playing very well indeed.
There's a bit of space. You like her? Anytime here, she's ripping. Guard the yellow.
Bit of consideration about following that down and coming to the rings, but Jennifer Jones says, well, if we do that, rip the guards, that just exposes the shot in the rings. Let's just guard it ourselves.
Longer. Line's good. Looks heavy. Looks heavy. It's running like it's heavy. Halfway. Legs coming in. Clean it. Just easy clean, Caitlin. It needs to sit. Clean it. Clean, clean, clean. Good job. Okay, Caitlin.
Five stones all in a row, right up the center line. So quite a fascinating end. Yesterday's game between China and the Czech Republic, where there was literally every stone in play.
That was incredible. You don't see it very often. 1, 2. He splits those guards at the top.
That's a great result.
Hit this one, I think.
Leaves their own stone sitting in the back of the 8-foot. Clears away the center. Very nice shot. Not only was every stone in play, 11 of them were touching the 4-foot. It was incredible.
You could have placed them in if you'd done it kind of
Yeah.
deliberately. The way it was all shaping up was a fascinating end.
You're good. Yeah, 9-3.
Good job. Her big.
It's in sticks. 8-foot.
Still a corner guard for China to use if they wanted to. They do have last rock here in the third. You could duck one around the corner and just leave that stone there for the Canadians to deal with.
There's always a temptation to draw yourself to the other side, isn't it? When you see it sitting there, and it takes maybe sometimes I think experience to maybe think, well, no, we can deal with that later. But they're dealing with it now.
Were you looking up though?
Just exchanging hits here, the two teams.
Well, that stone creeping
Sometimes you gotta
further
look
and
at it
further
also.
forward in the house is trading hits.
Hey?
Or we play that. You can come look if you want. That's pretty thin, the double.
Caitlin Laws is going to come down to have a look.
My only
Yeah,
other thought was
Ted.
just to freeze. I am missing a piece.
Could freeze.
My only other thought was to freeze, but it's a little risky because there could be a run double.
So I don't mind that. Do you like that? If you tap it a rock, it's pretty hard to.
Hard to not kill it if she plays the run.
Yeah.
Okay. Even if I'm
This isn't easy.
no,
can go there.
Yeah, my fear is to rub and then it opens this one up.
I know.
So
Or we play this double, but that's pretty thin.
it is. It's like less than a quarter.
Do you like this better?
I think so. I know it's a little risky, but I think they're all.
That's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, and if I'm just top four, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah,
Second
if we-
innings, or if we tap it an inch,
Tap
it's
it an
not
inch,
bad
it's
either.
okay too. Yeah.
Okay, the 13.8.
Just a very slight inside roll changed everything on this shot for Canada.
There aren't a ton of great options. I mean, like I can hit and roll, but if I just feather rub,
Is
there,
this the
then it
less
opens
risky
up
option
hard.
they've elected
If we
for?
play the double, it's a thin, like less than a quarter double. So with the draw, I have some options. We can either come like just top four, or we can come 2 and a half right here. Okay.
Caitlin just gave us a great explanation of the situation. She says,
Second ice.
throwing the draw is a little riskier, but at least if you get a little bit of execution tolerance, you make a small error, it doesn't hurt you. You try the double takeout, bad things could happen.
Yeah, much bigger problems could ensue.
Line's good, Brew.
And she is throwing the stone, so
Where is it?
Hard line. T-line. Hard.
Want to get it by that Chinese stone on the top of the forefoot. They're just going to nick it, I think. Wow.
it still wasn't a bad outcome.
Yeah, the result was good. I do think they feathered that stone going by. Let's
Great
take a look.
sweeping again. It really was.
Oh, it's perfect.
Yes, it just does redirect that stone, but
Wait.
sits in a good spot. Very difficult now for China to remove the rock that was just delivered by Laws. They can drive this one straight back and maybe push that red stone a bit sideways. That's, I'm sure, what they're playing.
Wang Rui targeting this bunch here. 1, 2. Oh, what an outcome for China there.
Great
Really, really beautifully played. That could have been quite problematic. Let's take another look.
Hit them right in the pocket. Got that sideways action. Didn't disturb her own stone behind the tee line at all. And
Didn't move, did it?
it was great. Great shot.
And China now very much with the advantage in this end. Line 3.
For Jennifer Jones, if she makes the double takeout, she's just going to be sitting in the open.
Away they both go. Good double from Jennifer Jones. And the crowd enjoying that one. And now Canada, shot stone.
Nice shot. Should have a double.
Trick for China now is they want to get a separation between their stones. Obviously, they're going to try to remove the Canadian rock, but what they're going to be talking about is what do we want to do with the delivered stone. They'd love to roll a little bit to the left as we're looking at it. If you keep the stones close together, makes that double takeout much easier for the Canadians. They're trying to get as much separation as possible.
And as level as possible.
Indeed.
So it's quite a lot to achieve here. And they want to secure their 2 points ultimately. So it's all about where this stone finishes here. This delivered stone. So the first thing is to get rid of that red one. Roll, roll, roll. How's that looking?
Not bad. They're pretty flat, but they are.
Coming off this one's easier.
They are looking at the
I guess
double.
this one's slightly higher, eh? Not really.
They're pretty much dead even.
Which one do you think?
We do.
Yeah, that's true. I guess if I come behind, right? I think the outturn. Hard.
The double takeout will be tough, but if they play the stone on the right as we're looking at it from our overhead, if she was to hit the back of the Chinese stone on the left of our picture, she could conceivably squirt forward into the 4-foot circle and maybe hide a little bit behind that Chinese stone. So even if she doesn't make the double takeout, of the two options, this is the better likelihood of a good result.
They aren't quite level, so if she can just hit it where that broom is.
It's very flat. To make a double takeout, she's going to have to throw it really hard.
Well, we know she can.
No doubt about that.
Look at that. The weight on this. The sweepers need to do their job now.
Nah, sorry.
She knows. Hits and rolls slightly.
Open hit for 2.
Sorry.
It was a difficult, difficult double for Jennifer Jones. And for anyone, actually.
Yeah, that was a really, really flat double attempt. China just got enough of a roll and enough separation that the double, tempting enough to try, but probably wasn't there.
So what an opportunity here for China. Stone of this third end. This could take them into the lead in this game.
Must cash this second point. And they do.
Yep, very nicely done. It's 2 for China here in this third end. Canada won't be too worried as yet. But there we go. China leading. Canada 1, China 3 after 3. Yeah, huge, 74% for the whole tournament. So definitely picking up as she's gone along from that first game. This is in number 4 now. Let's see what Canada have here in terms of building this end and responding to that 2 scored by China in end number 3. Dawn McEwen, lead player for Canada, playing very well indeed, as you would expect. 83%.
Corner guard. Really the first time that Canada's been tested so far in the tournament. Unaccustomed to be trailing in a match. Early in this one, 10 ends scheduled. So far, Team China playing with confidence. We've just completed the Winter Olympics. Of course, the next Winter Olympics will be in China, in Beijing.
And good to see other Chinese teams coming through, Hans.
Yeah,
with Betty Wang kind of flying the flag for China for a long time. And other teams coming through, men's and women's.
The athletes out there today will be very much in the frame for 2022.
I think it's more like 4 1/4 to team.
And they'll all want to play for China, in China. That would be very special for them.
I'm sure it would.
Okay, room. Room. Getting better. Still lots of line. It looks heavy.
Bumping it, yeah.
No.
It's like back button.
Yep, get it by. Yep. Keep it going. Go. Okay, Don. Okay.
Attempted freeze. It goes past the target stone. Slides to the back of the rings. Canada not firing on all cylinders yet. Get that out of my mouth. China with another chance to attack.
Zhao Jingdi, he's 75%. And again, improving as each game has gone on.
This one's over curling, so they're going to leave it up short for a guard. Now I suspect Jennifer Jones will pull the pins. Enough of this, she says.
Peel.
7/8.
Well, let's get rid of these. And what better person to do it? Somebody that's playing at 95%. Jill Officer.
Yep. Shooter. Yep.
1, 2. Away they go.
Sorry. Good.
Removes the Chinese guards, but leaves her own stone sitting just off the center line.
Sorry, Don. I thought that'd be good speed.
Did you
Covering
want
the
that
outturn.
a little further out?
I think so too.
Yeah, I would have liked that a little bit up further off the center line. Still affording a bit of cover for the Chinese.
Another guard blocking that pathway into the house, the top of the house.
Old school curling. Get one in the middle, guard it up.
Well, it works.
Absolutely.
Basically the same spot.
Yep. Hard!
Trying the run back.
Whoa!
No.
Oh, great shot. Losing the back one, though.
Sorry, Bill.
Removes the Chinese shot. Jennifer Jones would have loved to save her stone in the back of the 8-foot. And that's really picking at fine things.
That's
Great
why
result.
we heard the no, no, no.
Tough shot through the port here for Wang Rei.
How's this line looking? We shall see shortly. It's through.
Good shot.
I'm missing a piece. Do you like hack? Yeah, even if I don't, do we want to kill it? Doesn't really matter. I mean, ideally, yeah, but I think getting low is more important. Okay.
Hack? Yeah, just hack.
The good news for Canada is they saw this shot 2 ends ago. Jennifer Jones made an attempt right down this same path. She's saying to Caitlin Laws, just get that little inside roll. She said, get low, get across the nose. We don't care if we push the Chinese stone all the way out. Most important thing is to get behind the corner guard.
Supers watching closely. Here they come now.
Never really threatened that corner guard, Allison. It just tracked a bit straighter. Maybe
It did track straighter. Yeah.
Maybe a little bit more weight than Jennifer Jones threw a couple of ends ago.
Second stone for Wang Rei. Similar line between the two here again.
And here, yeah, whoa. You're usually in the neighborhood. Inside roll, outside roll, inside roll, outside roll, nose hit.
Is there enough space for that weight? Yep.
Hard to get that roll, bearing in mind the kind of very tight port
Yeah.
that it has to get through. Really hard.
Yep.
Yeah, you feel really silly if you're overly aggressive on the sweeping call and you clip one of the guards going by because of it.
No. Is it heavy?
Let's see what happens with this one this time.
Pretty good.
Sit.
And it's heading
Sorry, my
out.
fault.
Yeah, rolls out of the rings.
So that's the other extreme.
Yes.
So, Caitlin.
Well, it's a free shot for China now. Really, you've got 3 guards in the front, and of course you're going to go around the center guard. If China could force the Canadians to take a single point here in the 4th and come back with a pair in the 5th,
Well, that really would be game on, wouldn't it?
yeah, they would get to the midpoint of the game feeling very good about their chances. Sweepers have switched 2 or 3 times on the trip here. They're pretty happy with the line. Comes to rest half in the 8-foot.
Not really busting.
Do I have a quarter?
No. Tough play. You have a couple inches.
Sorry, it's almost buried.
Yeah, there's not much of that there at all, is there?
I still think you can make that roll, though. I still think she can make the roll.
I think I like hitting that at you.
Yeah, it's such a long guard. I think we can roll with
Just that weight I
solid
threw.
hack.
Yeah.
Well, Canada's certainly been tested in this game so far.
I think you can make the roll if that's what you're looking at.
Not having it all their own way
Yeah, that's what we
by any means.
Caitlin Laws just brushing the path of the.
Hack?
I think you need solid hack to board to make the roll
Okay.
and to kill it.
They are going to make a play at
Pretty
this
dead in the
stone.
house, so.
Good then.
Not much to hit, but going to try to hit what she can see with hack weight. Enough to push it through the rings.
Solid hack.
Whoa, immediately, says Jones.
Roll. Hack. Roll. Hack. Solid hack.
Watch this guard here. That one's okay.
No! Whoa!
Hard. I know.
Jennifer Jones saying no all the way down. She knew it was going to roll a bit too
Nice
far.
throw. Good speed.
Thought we had it. Just a bit solid, eh?
Solid hack. I think that's what you wanted.
It was a really good effort. Difficult shot.
Yeah, it was. Should have caught that one a hair thicker. She would have come to rest behind that red corner guard as it is.
How big's a hair?
Yeah, let's just say half a centimeter. In curling terms, that's a hair.
Speed's like 4.5.
And
I think it's fine.
she makes this roll. Take the middle eight.
Yeah, I don't want that red guard to come into play. So.
Trying out making a play on that stone of Jennifer Jones. We haven't seen much play down this side. What about the roll?
Oh, very nice shot. Very nice shot. Little inside roll. Probably not quite enough to hide completely from Jennifer Jones. So likely an attempted blank here coming up for Canada. But once again, China
Good then.
making Canada chase them.
Okay. Hers just kind of ran.
Yeah.
So. Queen.
Jones likes it.
Easy.
You're good.
Away they both go. That was what she wanted. You're watching live coverage from the Ford World Women's Curling Championship 2018 inside the Memorial Gardens Sports Arena in North Bay in Canada. And this is our featured match, Canada against China. Alison Walker and Hans Fernlopp bringing you live commentary on this game and updates from elsewhere when we see them. And China with a 3-1 lead over one of the favourites here. And really the significant end was that 2 for China in the third. Canada blanking that last end. They have the hammer here. They need to try and start building something, and a confidence booster going into the fifth end break. They won't be worried at this stage though, Hans, will they?
They won't, but you do feel like this is an end where the Canadians will want to try and start to build the momentum. They want to bring this crowd into the game. The crowd is just waiting for something to cheer for, and it really hasn't happened yet. We're seeing their team trailing by 2. Jennifer Jones will really want to get a deuce on the board here, get to the fifth end break level.
That will be the plan. China will do all they can to make her take the force and build on the hammer and end number 6 after the break.
And this Chinese foursome have looked very composed here this afternoon. Not at all daunted by the aura of this Canadian team. Olympic gold medalists, world champion.
I think keeping the crowd quiet has definitely suited them.
No doubt.
Line's good. Yep. Wait, close. Hard. Top 4. Hard line. Hard line.
Light 8.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. Good.
Attempted freeze over curls. Nudges the center guard. Comes onto the ring, so it's fair game for Jiang Yilun to make a play at it. It's not in the free guard zone. New playoff format this year at the Ford World Women's Curling Championships, Alison.
Yep, an extra Asian team coming into the mix. Such a wealth of talented countries in that part of the world now.
Nice roll there, tucks behind the corner.
And the playoff situation has changed as well, giving more teams a chance.
Yeah, it's going to be a very exciting format. 6 teams will qualify for the playoff round here at the Ford Worlds. There is a reward for finishing first or second in the round robin phase. You go straight to the semifinal.
That's heavy. I feel like that's heavy. Weight only, guys. Room. You got room. Line straight. It was more than I wanted. Line straight. Can't bounce on this line. Good get your nose. Yeah, line's real good now. Yep, 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 yep. You can bounce. Go, 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 go. Okay. Good spot, Julie. That's good.
Good sweeping there from Canada. And appreciated by this crowd.
And just to finish the thought on the playoff format, so the top 2 teams go to the semi. The 3rd ranked team will play the 6th ranked team in one quarterfinal, and then the 4th ranked team will play the 5th ranked team. The winners of those games advance to the semifinal. No page playoff. Once you reach the playoff phase, you must win to keep advancing.
And we will keep explaining all that as we go along, getting closer to those stages at the end of the round robin, the various scenarios.
China just looking to freeze on top of the Canadian stone at the top of the forefoot, just delivered by Jill Officer. It's going to be a fraction heavy, though.
Do you freeze on the nose of that?
力量还行，线路有点大。你是个谁？
Yep. Okay. See, I'd like to feel this is more. Can you do it with board? Yeah.
You got space?
Yeah, I have about an inch of space by the board.
Whoa!
Yeah. Whoa.
Yeah!
One yellow. One yellow.
Okay.
Getting a little busy in the house here in our feature match. 4 stones in the rings, 2 in the forefoot. Red stones belong to Canada. They've got last rock. Here in the 5th. Jumping this one immediately.
Well, they were onto it quickly, weren't they?
And that's why it overcurls, removes the Canadian stone, but also kills their own.
And that one in the middle there, becoming fairly well ensconced.
Hit off that one, but I don't know if that does us anything.
If you don't make, yeah, I guess if we roll all the way over here, it's not the end of the world. Probably better. You know, with this, it's really bad.
Okay.
Yeah, you generally want to avoid really bad.
How much is it to roll into that one? What? How much is it to roll into that one?
A third. Okay. Do you like here? Or here?
I don't mind.
Here's
Yeah,
good. Here.
Just locking in the weight to be thrown on this shot. Heard Caitlin ask, how much do I need to hit to roll to the other one? Jennifer Jones said, need to hit a third.
No.
Click it 10.
You can't right off.
Right off usually means it's wide of the target line. This one's not being swept at all. Will it curl enough to get any contact?
Yep.
Right through the hole.
Big groan from this largely Canadian crowd. Big sigh from Caitlin Laws.
At the very last, Jennifer Jones saying, sweep it, maybe get a glancing blow off that center guard. But that's an uncharacteristic miss from Caitlin Laws. Hard to do. Hard to throw it right through the hole like that.
Yeah, you thought it would have touched something, but it didn't.
So big let off for China, and let's see if Wang Ray can make the Canadians pay by running this center guard straight back onto the Canadian rock. They're close. Oh, great shot.
And gets a little roll as well and some separation. And good result for China.
Yeah. As quickly as that.
To keep that as straight as possible. 1 and 2. Well played.
Caitlin Laws looking to redeem after that miss on her previous shot.
Go. Okay.
Nose hit.
10.5. Good try.
See a little frustration creeping onto the expression of Jennifer Jones. Things not going their way.
It's letting flow, but I thought if I just dropped it, it would. Not enough.
John's guard didn't really move there either, so yeah. Kind of like rides the line and then gets off, right? Pocket, yeah.
10秒大一点啊！
Jiang Yilun.
往外闪的，哎，走，哎，走，你下来呢，走，哎，走，走，往外闪。
Little outside roll,
OK， 我球，走。
keeping the play away from that center guard.
Shots. Even if, well, she's playing the runs, we probably, she's got such an easy.
Yes, right beside it.
Do I just try to be second?
Just might make this harder to get to this one.
Yeah. I guess right beside it's probably, she just can come off of that so easily.
Canada's still thinking
Okay.
deuce here. Facing 3 shots, but they're ignoring them. They're just going to draw around that center guard. Heard Jennifer Jones say, maybe even sitting in second shot position. Thinking if we draw it all the way up into shot position, quite easy for China just to hit their own stone, jump off it sideways and remove ours.
She needs a stone in there in the mix though, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Or right beside it. It's really hard for me to
But a lot of teams would hit the stone directly in front of the brush and roll just to try and limit damage, but not Jennifer Jones. She says, I've got a guard there. I'm just going to use it. I'm going to go around.
Well, she's still thinking about a score of more than one, isn't she?
Absolutely.
Let it work, guys.
Off the line.
I don't think you need to
Off the line. Jill's rock. You gotta go. Okay, Golden.
You got to be there. Sweep for the full 8. The line's great. Get it there. Go, Jill. Go. Go, go, go. You got it. Go, Jilly. Go.
How far is it going to come round? Super's trying hard.
Oh, very nicely swept. Great shot by Jennifer Jones. Showing her class.
It's too early. Because yours really curled there and mine finished.
Get it there. Go, Jill. Go.
Officer McEwen.
Go, go. You got it. Go, Jilly.
Go
Go.
Jilly, says Jennifer Jones.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Officer sweeping it all the way into shot rock position. Very nicely done.
And they're catching their breath now.
There we can see, not completely buried. Maybe a quarter of it visible for Jiang Yilun. So she looks like she's just going to try and pick it out. If she can do that, she will force the Canadians to take a single point. And that was the mission for China.
So this is her last stone. Targeting that Canadian red. It's tricky though.
Need to push this stone all the way out of the rings. And they do. Very nice shot. China has come to play.
Yeah. Well. Plenty for Jennifer Jones to think about. Yeah, now she just has to make sure
Well,
of that single shot.
you just threw this shot, so that's the good thing, but it's a little bit different when it's the last one. You're facing 3. In your mind, you're thinking, I just have to throw the same shot again. But in the very back of the mind, the area that you don't let yourself go to is thinking, yeah, but we're facing 3.
Last stone of the 5th. Just making sure.
Mine's tighter.
Claim this point here, facing 3.
Running like
China
it's heavy.
counters.
I agree. It's heavy.
It's heavy, she's saying.
It's like back 8.
Yeah, sweepers think it's heavy. Jalop's is saying it's back 8.
No, just let it die.
Let it die. Where is it going to die? How far is it going to go? Is it going to stick? It is. Well, they were worried there. Slight panic, but there was nothing they could do. They just had to watch it settle. And it settled to secure that point. And after 5 ends and into the break, it's Canada 2, China 3. 1.
Confirm 1, 2, 3, 5.
Highlights in our featured game between Canada and China. China forced to 1 in the first, and in the second it was the same for Canada. This is the second end. Very tight game. Jennifer Jones with the final stone. Facing a couple of China counters, securing her point. 1-1 after 2.
11.
And into the third end, Jennifer Jones had missed a double to set up a potential score of 2 for China. Jiang Yilun gets the 2, and China lead 3-1 in this game. Fourth end was blanked. And again, in this fifth end, China lying 3.
Here more? Let it die.
Jennifer Jones
No, let it die.
slightly heavy, but it makes it, and she secures her single point, but only a single point in this game as they head into the break. 3-2 to China. So there's the latest for you around the arena in this 7th session. Denmark leading Germany 3-2. Czech Republic ahead 7-3 over Scotland. It's Canada 2, China 3. And Japan are leading the United States 4-3. And the stats in our game. China ahead in terms of overall percentages and in terms of hits, but draws Canada slightly better, and no stolen points as yet. So still a pretty even game, Hans.
Yeah, the stats are pretty indicative of the play. China has had the better of the play in the first half of the game. There's no doubt about that. Just slightly in front of the scoreboard, and they'll be at the fifth end break thinking, if you would have said before the game, 1 up at the break with the hammer, would you be pretty happy with that? They'd say absolutely, we'll take that every day.
And the key is having that hammer in end number 6 in the even ends. And just keep it steady. They have a chance here.
Well, they certainly do. Played very, very well. Need to keep composed, keep doing what they're doing.
Unusual situation for Canada here. So far this week, haven't been trailing too many times.
Yeah, Canada, one of the 3 unbeaten teams coming into this draw. Sweden, they've got the afternoon off. They won this morning to go to 4-0. Korea also has the afternoon off. They're at 3-0. Canada, the only other unbeaten team coming into this match. With that perfect record, very much under threat this afternoon. Jiang Yilun and her teammates giving Jennifer Jones everything she can handle.
And very good start from Yang Hui, 83%. She started off the game in the early 70s, and that indicates just how well she's been playing at lead.
China continuing to go right after the Canadians. Canada throwing the center guard. China saying, okay, we'll come around it. Jennifer Jones asking her lead, Dawn McEwen, for another guard.
Wait only. Through. Line's good. Flip center. Looks heavy. Halfway.
It's okay, as long as we cross a bit.
Yeah. I don't really want to see this. Just okay, you're fine. Trying a bit. You're fine. Good.
And similar team talks at the break there, Hans, for both, I would think.
Yeah, one thing about this Canadian team, they've got a world of experience. So they've had to come from behind in games to win before in big situations. So they won't be fazed by being one down at the break by any means.
Yep, five ends to go, still a long way.
I think the more interesting discussion would have been in the Chinese huddle. You come into this game, you're 1-2. Sometimes you'd look past a game like this and you're thinking, okay, Canada, that's going to be tough. We'll do our best. Now you're in a position to genuinely win the game on merit. So you just have to keep yourself. Again, we talked about sporting cliches a bit earlier. Just look on what's ahead of you. Forget about the first 5 ends. You've still got 5 to play. 40 shots to make and you can win the game.
I'm sure there's much to play out here before that happens. This Canadian team are very difficult to shake off.
Feel hard, feel hard, feel hard, feel hard. Okay. Okay, good.
Yes, one thing this Chinese team, I wouldn't say if it's a disadvantage. If you think about the Swedish team of Anna Hasselborg, very strong with a lead, very good at peeling guards, protecting a lead. Not so sure about Zhang Yulun's Chinese team, whether they've got that equal level of skill of clearing guards if they have a lead, if they can protect a 2-point lead all the way to the finish line. This is a good looking roll.
I'd like to tap it around. Back 4.
China line 2.
It's pretty straight here.
Jill Officer, 90% for the game, 94% for the tournament. She's already announced her inverted quotes retirement from competitive play next year.
But not quite retiring, really.
No. I'll believe it when I see it. She says she's going to continue to be the alternate for Team Jones.
Good.
That's another nice stone from her.
Yeah, very nice.
So scenario here for China, they'd be looking for 2. Give themselves a bit of a cushion.
Team China just double checking how much of that stone is visible from the delivery end. See in this fantastic angle. It's about a quarter to a third of the shot available for Jiang Xingdi. By the guards. And their best save their shooter in the back as well.
What a great result for China there.
Yeah. I like the fire of Jiang Xingdi. She's really into every shot.
Again, sailing very close to that guard. But I don't think they've caught one yet.
Yeah, they're playing very well.
Yeah, we saw Caitlin with that miss in the previous end, didn't we?
Yeah, that's affected her game stats at 73% today.
But you know, one good shot, that can be back up again.
And this one's going to spill out of the house as well. See on the expression of Caitlin Laws.
I just thought it was quiet right out of her head.
Teammates giving her the feedback. That was lighter weight than we were expecting, Caitlin. Over curled. Great chance now for China if they can sink one around these center guards. Top of the forefoot. Be all on for a 3 and maybe more.
Wang Rui, you would expect her to make it with a stat of 98%. No pressure here.
It's a pretty good afternoon so far. This one, though, tracking straight. And
it's not curling much at all, is it?
No. It's a fraction heavy as well. Cheng Yilin recognizing it's a little bit heavy, so sweeps it to the back of the forefoot. That wasn't the position they were looking for, though, because it gives the Canadians a nice pocket to freeze to now.
Caitlin Laws hoping to make up for that slightly wayward first shot. As you know, we are talking tiny margins. We know how good these players are. And the expectation is they'll absolutely make everything that they go for.
They like the line. Oh, good looking stone here by Caitlin Laws.
That is very, very, very nice from Caitlin Laws. Responding well.
Yeah, that takes the Chinese out of their multiple point end right there. Quite a bad miss by Wang Rui on the previous stone sliding behind the tee line. That let the Canadians freeze.
How do you get rid of that red stone there? Well, Caitlin Laws.
Yeah, realistically, you don't. You have to start by sitting in front of it yourself to secure your single point and then start thinking about how you can get two. This one again tracking a little bit wide. It's got a lot of curling to do. I don't think it's going to curl enough to get to the nose. In fact, it's going to slide by the Canadian stone. Another bad miss.
And she's been so solid in this game. Rui Wang. And sometimes after the break this happens with players, doesn't it? They just lose a bit of their momentum or their consistency.
Yeah, that's a bad mental error. You could afford to be 4 feet light on that shot. Still have something to play with, but
I'd like to be line 2, top button is ideal. She does have
sliding
that
deep
yellow, so I'd like to vary around because, like right now, she can only hit 3/4 of that yellow, right?
Jennifer Jones recognizing the opportunity that she's got. She can draw around those center guards.
A hair faster, hey?
Top forefoot. Be in a great position to steal, probably 2.
So first of her 2 stones here, Jennifer Jones, 85%.
No.
Well, they gave feedback that this is a fast track, but the sweeper's saying that's still T-line. Not laying a brush to it yet.
It's a similar line to Rui Wang's.
Don't want to leave it in a place where they could throw a double takeout, but it comes to rest right on the button. Very nice shot.
Yep, she's fairly happy with that. And why not? It's China that have the headache in this end now.
Did you get on that?
14. Yeah, that's a better path than, or tighter path than theirs.
Yeah.
Problem for China is you follow Jennifer Jones down, you make a play, you're still going to be leaving the Canadians lying 1. They are looking at promoting this stone in the front of the 8-foot. I think that's the better play. It's a better play because the angles are better. You're driving the yellow into the red, but you're pushing the red away from the protection of the stones behind it, coming in from the side. So you've got a better chance of pushing that stone in the button clear of everything and maybe leaving yourself lying 1. If you come on the outturn side, you're pushing the shot stone directly onto the red stone behind it. Zhang Yilun has to basically hit what she can see. 88% for the game, pretty good. She's gonna have to get quite close to the guard to make this. Well by the guard. I don't think it's gonna get enough contact to get to the shot rock or even to second shot. How quickly this end turned. Wang Rui, 4 feet heavy with an attempted come around. Great freeze by Caitlin Laws, and all of a sudden, Canada now with a chance to steal 2, maybe more.
And then she just makes that tap. Okay.
And Jennifer Jones is about to make it even more difficult for her.
Yeah. You're Zhang Yilun right now. You're looking and saying, how am I going to get one in there? There are no good shots.
How much does she have of her yellow?
And it's 2 inches at most.
Okay. So she's got the tap on her yellow.
She
and
does,
she's also
yeah.
got this draw.
Right.
But I think if we can get this full 4,
Yeah, I like it.
that's pretty good. But it's all line. Like, I don't want to leave her something to run in.
Right.
Okay, so. Got to be close, eh? Yeah. Hair heavier on this side. That thing.
Yeah, I agree. That's what we said, yeah.
Jennifer Jones looking to draw this one into the front of the 4-foot. Heard her say it's all about line. By that she means she needs to get behind cover. If she leaves herself in the open on the 4-foot, she might give Zhang Yilun something to jump off on her last shot.
She doesn't want to leave any kind of tap option for China. Will that do the trick?
Well, we heard some disappointment in the voice of Jennifer Jones just at the end. I think she's wondering if she left Zhang Yilun something to jump off.
Just gone a bit too far.
The question is going to be, can Zhang Yilun get to the inside of that stone that Jones just delivered to push the shot rock out sideways?
And whatever, it's a very difficult shot.
Absolutely. So the decision for China, do you really try to skinny the guard with weight, try to get to the inside of the stone that Jones just threw, pushing the button stone off sideways, or do you just say, all right, we'll just draw into that pocket, concede 1, go from there? You're still ahead on the scoreboard here. Dropping 3 would be very bad. Dropping 2 wouldn't be great.
Just looking at the angles here, from what the kind of curling they've been playing leading up to this, I think they would probably go for it.
Yeah, if there's a glimmer of a chance to score the point, they're going to take a go at it. I agree, Allison. Just a question whether that's the wisest thing to try in this circumstance.
And this is sometimes in decision making, this is where experience comes into it, isn't it?
Yeah, you do need to think about the game situation as well as what's right in front of you. You've controlled the whole game up until now. And there you can see, I don't think there's any way in the world that she can get to the inside of that left-hand redstone with any kind of weight. So it's to the brush position. It's just going to be fractionally back button weight, draw weight. This is really just to cut China down, or cut Canada down to 1. You're conceding 1 in this situation, but you need to get a piece of the button.
And that is a sensible decision, but it's still difficult to execute.
Yeah, it's a very tough shot. Very tough shot.
Last stone of this 6th end. China with a narrow 3-2 lead in this game against Canada, but it could all change here. How's it looking?
Well, it's got a lot of curling to do. I don't think it's going to curl enough. And it is a steal of 3.
And you can hear by the roar of the crowd what that means. A really well played end from a Canadian point of view. And Zhang Yilun left with a very, very difficult final stone there. That's a sore one though, after controlling the game so well. That's what can happen though against Canada. Canada 5, China 3 after 6. You're watching live coverage from the Ford World Women's Curling Championship 2018 inside the Memorial Gardens Sports Arena in North Bay, Ontario in Canada. Kind of in the middle of Canada we are for this World Championship. A real curling city and a great crowd turning out to watch round robin action this week. And this is our featured game. The home nation Canada against China. And all the way through those first 5 ends, it was China slightly ahead, in control, but a real turning point there in end number 6. And I wonder how significant that will be, Vance, in the grand scheme of things.
Could be decisive. It's a real mental toughness check for Team China here in the 7th end. How do you respond after you drop a 3? Usually one of 2 things happens in this situation. Either you play a really good end to get a deuce back on the board and right the ship, or the opposite of that. If the struggle continues, you drop another steal and you're chasing, and it's disappears in a heartbeat.
Yep. And we've seen it happen. We've also seen teams rally and bounce back, so let's see what China can do in this end. This end, they need to respond.
What they'll need to remember, Team China, is it was execution errors that got them into trouble in the 6th, no doubt, but they had the end building up really well. It was just 2 heavy draws by Wang Ray and a great freeze by Caitlin Laws, and that really just turned everything around in the 6th. But Zhang Yilun needs to remember they've been building up ends the entire match, including in the 6th end. They just got into trouble and got scorched with that steal of 3. But if they can build up another end here, get a pair, they're very much in the now this stone has come off. I suspect it must have been a hog line violation. The stones have there's a magnetic strip just before the hog line. We'll watch very closely on the replay. We'll just watch the lights at the front of the stone, see if they flash red.
Looked like it was just on the line there, didn't it?
It did. But in any event, the Chinese players took that stone off immediately, so. Hog line violation. You have to release the stone completely before it reaches that black near hog line. There's an automatic detector in the handle.
Really right. Patting her teammate on the back there. It can happen.
Sit. Right out, Caitlin. That a girl, Jilly. Girl, good. Good.
And that can be really disconcerting for a team. You prepare for everything, but hogline violations happen quite rarely. When they do, it can really unbalance a team. It just changes the flow of what normally happens in a game.
And our lead player had been playing so well too.
Very nice shot here.
You could have just done with it being just a little bit closer.
Just about to say, Allison, you can hear the confidence back in the voice of Jennifer Jones now. She's feeling like they're in command again.
Yep, that three definitely has changed the look for her. Targeting this Chinese yellow stone. Oh, beautifully done. Just clips it nicely. And keeps her own stone in the edge of the 12-foot there.
Yeah, Jill Officer having just a great tournament so far for Canada. Jill and Jennifer started curling together back at junior age curling. They've been a combination and great friends on and off the ice for many years.
They must know each other so well, good and bad.
These teams spend a lot of time together over the course of a competitive curling season.
So again, China were trying to get that one, that yellow one, as close as possible to that red, and coming up short. And so this time Caitlin Laws is eyeing that one for Canada.
Clean. Yep. You're good. That's fine, Caitlin. That's okay, that's fine.
Yeah, at some point, if you're China, you kind of give up on the strategy of trying to freeze the back stone. It's not a bad end to blank. If you're going to blank in it now, if you blank the 7th end, you get the hammer and the even ends. So now we can see Zhang Yilun saying, okay, let's make a play on the center stone. By playing the front stone and taking the play over towards the back stone, increases the chance of you being able to double stones off and roll off the rings if you do in fact want to blank. There are no guards, so a 2-point end from here for China is going to be pretty tough.
Yep, they need these stones in play.
Nice shot. Just leaving it on the ring, though. Needed to hit that one just a fraction thinner.
Still nibbling on the outside edge there.
It's a bad break for China because this makes the blank much more unlikely. If they push that one off the rings, China could just run the end out and blank it, but now Canada draws the other side. China may be forced to take a single point, which is exactly what Canada wants.
It looks heavy to me. Looks heavy.
Can't be both. Can't be light and heavy.
Sorry. Okay, okay.
Split the difference. We're in the T line.
Ran pretty good.
Light heavy-ish, or heavy lightish.
On the lightish side of heavy. Canada lies too. Bit of discussion there among Team China. They briefly thought about trying the freeze again, but now they're electing to play the hit. wanting to roll across.
Go, 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 go. Keep her going, go, go, go.
It just spins back at the end to leave China lying one, I think.
I'm not sure.
That's fine.
I think they were maybe
9.5.
a hair in.
As we were discussing earlier in the game, a hair in curling is about half a centimeter. So, yep, probably just a hair in it. Watch it spin.
Oh, actually, it's more than a hair.
Okay, it's a good hair and a half.
It's not, because it doesn't look the same at all in that shot. Yeah, it looked much further in the close-up.
And that's important. If Canada was still lying shot, they'd be drawing the open side, but now because China's lying the shot, they have to make a play at it.
No, no. No!
Stay off it, she's saying. Stay off it.
Yep, yep, yep. Yep, yep.
Oh, very good shot by Jennifer Jones.
She knew
Gets a
exactly
roll.
what she wanted to happen there, didn't she?
She did. She knew she'd get a little bit of a roll and still stay on the rings. Jennifer Jones saying, I used all of the back of the house to the roll. Makes this double takeout tougher.
Oh, yeah.
Canada knows if China hits the front stone, if they catch it thin, they'll go past the other stone at the back of the 12-foot. And the force is on for sure for Canada.
Did you ever think about freezing there?
Well, if it was the 8th end, maybe. In the 7th end, when there's still a chance for a blank, not so sure. The double is there, or at least the hit and roll in front of the back stone. You can maybe achieve both by hitting 7/8 of this stone, rolling it on top of the stone just delivered by Jennifer Jones. But it is an option. You don't get many chances to go for it. And either of those stones is a freeze candidate, so it is an option. Good look at the angles there. That's where Jing Yilun's going to try to roll.
And she's had some difficult final shots in this last couple of ends.
Playing the out turn. Well, it's the outside of the rock, rolls away.
She might make the blank there. Guess the blank here is.
Going close to the four.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I know. I'm just saying on this side, I think it's easier. That's all.
Yeah, I like kind of.
Do you
Just
like?
a hair more ice than mine.
I think the same ice as yours. Like I don't mind it over here,
Yeah, yeah.
right? Even if it's over there.
Okay.
So I had there, so you can take right on the edge of the logo.
You got it.
Laws and Jones just discussing where they can leave the stone that doesn't leave China a double takeout and roll out themselves. Not too much risk for Canada here.
You want to be on the tee line. Okay. Kind of same spot Caitlin's was. So this looks like it's slid quite nice. Like more like the out turn side last end.
Yep.
Okay.
I have to think if this is in the 8-foot at all, almost no chance that China would try a double takeout for the blank and just be a nose hit for the one.
Oh, you gotta go, guys.
I'm good.
Really hard. Get it in.
Jennifer
Really
Jones
hard,
thinks she's
Dawn.
light.
Never off. Go, 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 go. Keep her going. It's sliding, Dawn. You got it. We're gonna be okay. You got it. Go. T-line.
Reassuring her teammates here, encouraging them.
T-line. At least he has all. There. Great stuff, guys.
After all that, maybe overswept. That's fine.
That should do the trick.
Hearing a lot, but I was like, I think we're going to be okay. I think we can
No, that's true, I guess.
Front end player saying, yeah, it wasn't light. We had it all the way. McEwen, officer, very good sweepers. So it is the force. China will be forced to take a single point here. They must stick around. They can't afford to roll out. Nicely played.
Yep. That stone wasn't going anywhere. Still only one though, forced to take one. And Canada, you feel, are just beginning to assert themselves now. They lead 5-4 after 7 ends.
Yan Wei gets it underway here. And then number 8. You get the feeling, Allison, that this one will be a bit of a Texas standoff of an end. Canada's got last rock. They know if they get a pair here, they can put it away. China will be thinking, we're going to have to gamble all out for a steal. So I can imagine that China's going to play this end really aggressively.
And they are still only 5-4 down. Just felt after the last couple of ends that Canada really found their game again. It's going to be tough for China now.
It will. China will be thinking, though, if we go really hard for the steal here and if we pull it off, then you force Canada to take 1 in the 9th and you come home 1 down with last rock. You'd like your chances, but to make that formula work, you have to go really aggressively for the steal here in 8. Problem is, if you go aggressively for the steal, you can drop a 2 or a 3. That's the price you pay for the gamble.
But I think they still have to go for it, don't they?
I agree.
This is still an opportunity for them.
The reason I'm saying you go hard for it in the 8th, if you can steal the 8th, then you do get control of the even ends again in that vital 10th end. So I would expect China to go all out in terms of trying to steal, but be interesting to see how Jennifer Jones responds. You can respond one of 2 ways. You can say, okay, I recognize you're going to go for the steal. We'll just clear the front, keep it open. Or you can say, okay, you're going to go for the steal. We'll play with you 2. We'll get our 3. Put the game away right here. Just by the guard.
so big.
Jennifer Jones swiveling around to take a peek at the time clock. Neither team have called their timeout yet. You get the feeling that the Chinese at some point here in the 8th or 9th end may do that.
China still playing well, 100% there.
They are trying to freeze. Need to get it by that center guard, but this one's really moving. It's going to over curl. So now Jennifer Jones, you're lying too, guarded.
You like that, or do you want to come in?
This is the decision.
I think we just peel these. I like
The peel is the sensible play, but it's pretty tempting when you're lying too guarded and you've got the hammer. Just go for it.
it. 88% for our hits. Jill Officer.
Good.
Very nice.
And you feel the crowd beginning to get behind them now. There's definitely a change in momentum swung the way of this Canadian team.
Yeah, let's lob another one in there. I know.
Your Jill Officer discussing what the option was. Yeah, throw another one in. But you're right, Allison. The crowd was definitely a little anxious at the midpoint. Their team was trailing and the Chinese were playing very well, but that huge steal of 3 in the 6th then really turned everything around in this match. Not over yet, though, by any means.
You can see the stone released before the hog line there. So green light was on.
Just not quite there now for the Chinese. That one just not quite curling enough. Bounces off the Canadian stone, sits in the open. Canada will be very happy with this situation. Thumbs up by Jill Officer, says it's a little bit heavier. Rolls it off the ring. Very nice shot by Jill Officer. Well, great situation shaping up here for the Canadians, not so much for the Chinese. Canada with the last rock here in the 8th, lying 3.
91% for our hits, just 75 for those 3 draws. Successfully gets rid of those 2. Wang Rui.
Yeah, it reduces the damage, but Canada still very much in shape to score a 2 in this end. That wouldn't clinch victory, but it would put them in firm control.
We'll get another one back in here.
This one's really curling. Oh. Just nudges the Chinese stone out of the rings.
Is that in or out there?
Oh, it's close. Looks out. Caitlin Laws again has a stone over curl on a takeout attempt. So a let off there for Team China. Try to look there between Yilung's legs there just to try and see if that stone's on the ring.
That's very, very
that's
close.
very close. If you're Canada, you'd measure it. Can't measure it now, though. You have to wait till the end of the end.
It could still play a part. It's not out of play. Even if it's not touching, it's still in play.
Well, it could be as much of a problem for the Canadians as the Chinese. Jennifer Jones got into a situation on her last rock where that was the only stone in play. You have to make a decision. Is it a draw for two, or you throw it through for blank and they measure it and it's on the rings and it's a force all of a sudden?
And in the rings, they count.
Oh, well, now we'll never know.
That's it gone.
Jams.
I like that throw, Caitlin. I think I did more. You want to hear from me? Yeah, that was a 10-3. Clean. Yep. Really hard. Real hard, real hard, real hard, real hard, real hard. Go, 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 go. That's an 11.
Yeah, that's actually
Okay.
less than that one.
Caitlin lost for the entire match on these board weight hits. It's just been a fraction light. Stones are over curling. A steep angle here for China if they're thinking double takeout. Can also hit and roll in front of the stone in the back ring. A force is not the end of the world for China. Force Canada to take one.
Is the hit and roll slightly easier, would you say?
Well, the angles are really awkward for the double. You got to catch it really thin. So I'd say the hit and roll is easier, but making a hit and roll to a precise spot is pretty tough.
Oh, but she
Very nice.
gets rid of them and retains one yellow.
See it on the replay. Had to catch this one thin to drive it straight into the face of that Canadian stone to save the shooter. Just hangs on. Jennifer Jones doesn't really want to blank this eighth end, but she'll do it if she has to, and it's starting to look like she's going to have to.
82% for our hits, 90% for the draws. Our hits have been reasonably solid throughout the game. Targeting this yellow one and rolling in to the edge of the 8 foot. And Canada have had a few games finish early. They've been taken all the way here by China.
Yeah, if China could ever get a nose hit out of Jennifer Jones to force them to a single point. They score a pair in the 9th with last rock. They go to the 10th end tied. But you are going to have to steal an end somewhere along the line if you're China, and Canada has not given up a steal so far in this match. Right in the nose. So, blank attempt upcoming, we suspect, for Jennifer Jones.
Last stone of 8th end. She's saying no.
No, 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 no.
Hello.
And you can hear by the groan what happened. A complete miss there from Jennifer Jones, and she knew straight away. She'll be annoyed with herself about that. Apologies to her team. And it's a steal. Steal of 1 for China, and it's 5-5 now. Who would have thought?
A lot of life in this game yet. We're all tied at 5.
There's an update for you on the other sheets. The game has finished. Scotland losing to the Czech Republic 11-4. The game's still ongoing. Japan ahead over the USA. And it's 4-4 Denmark against Germany. And in our feature game, it's pretty tight here. 9th end, 5-5. As we get back underway.
Well, Alison, we said that the Chinese were going to have to steal an end somewhere along the line. I certainly wasn't expecting to come on an open miss from Jennifer Jones on a blank attempt.
Yep, not that way anyway. So maybe.
Well, with that miss, because of it happening in the 8th end, the advantage pendulum has swung instantly straight back to China. They forced Canada to score 1 here. They've got last rock in the 10th end. You score 2 with the hammer, you win the game.
Yep, definitely game on here in our featured matchup. China starting the game. First 5 ends going really well. And then Canada took over for the next couple. And now it's all square.
And that open miss stunning this crowd. They were sensing a run to the victory line for the home team, but an open miss on a blank attempt by Jennifer Jones, silencing the crowd, stunning them really, and China now thinking, we're in this game. Good come around there by Don McEwen. So it'll be interesting to see how Canada plays this 9th end. They've got the last rock. Two basic ways that you play this end if you're Canada. Keep it open, not so many rocks in play. Try to blank the end, keep last rock for the 10th.
I bet China couldn't quite believe that miss either in the 8th end.
Yeah. Well, they won't have been expecting that for sure, but perhaps it's one of those things where the fates of a curling match kind of ebb and flow. They would have thought that earlier in the match they legitimately had control. Had a bit of a miss from Wang Rui on a draw in the 6th, opened the door for the Canadians to steal 3, and China at that point would have thought, oh man, had control of the game, and then just one shot turns it around. And then in the 8th end, and that was returned in the other direction when Jones missed that blank attempt.
Trying. No, never, guys. Anywhere above it. Anywhere above it. Whoa. It's perfect, Don. Let it go. Good.
Oh, 2 very nice stones by Don McEwen in this end.
Okay.
This is shaping up to be a very interesting end. It's certainly not starting with anything looking like a blank end strategy.
China with just the one win so far in this round robin over Switzerland in the opening game. Canada unbeaten. And this is the biggest test for them so far.
This is looking like a mixed doubles end so far. 4 stones all frozen.
Yeah, it's close to nose. Okay. Oh, yeah. Do you like that? Yeah.
What the players are seeing, if you hit that guard right on the nose, clip the yellow going by, you could spill all the Chinese stones and leave 2 Canadian stones in the rings.
No. No, 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 never. No, 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 no.
Oh, it's a not bad effort.
Does remove one of the 2 Chinese stones. Needed to curl a fraction more to get them all.
Sorry, guys.
Just hits a little bit on the high side. That changes the angles.
You see one yellow disappearing out this way. But those 2 still in a good position for China.
China still thinking force. Jennifer Jones deciding how aggressive she wants to play the rest of the end. This one is taking its time getting across that center line. They needed to curl to get some cover on that shot rock. Not going to do it.
Not enough.
Covers half, maybe.
It's pretty long. I think we can chase. Roll a hair. Oh, yeah. I've got loads of space here. Here. Sorry, 10? Yep.
Going to make a play on that stone just to the left of the brush. Look for an inside roll.
No. Clean. No, off.
This one's also tracking a little bit.
Let it, girl. Good.
Right in the nose. China may not get second shot if they get the inside roll. Red stone belongs to the Canadians. On the left-hand side of the picture, could outcount it. Chang Yilun eyeing up the angles. Another nose hit.
Yeah, when she freezes, or do you want to try to make that double? Because I can chase her on this guard, like even if she makes the roll.
Whoever just trying to go in.
I just would hate to, and then she comes there, right? Yeah. Like it's not ideal.
So you wanted to roll big?
We could try to get there. There is a hole. Yeah,
like I.
Caitlin Laws doesn't sound
You have
convinced.
to make it. But
Yeah. There's really no miss, so. Want to just nose this?
Sure.
Okay. 10.
Safer play. Looking to nose hit the stone in the 12-foot, the blue circle. Leave China lying shot, but would leave a Canadian stone directly in front of it. An easy raise. Plus the bonus, if you're a little bit wide, you make the double takeout.
Good. Yep. Clean only. Little more still. Yep. Yes. Oh, hard. Hard. Okay. Good.
Nice shot.
A load of hair, maybe. A load of hair, just rolling it. Oh, I keep following you. I keep following you to this side.
站了一半有。打钉也可以。打钉打甩。
It's a bit like a game of chicken. How brave do you get going for the steal here? Canadian stones are accumulating. You sure don't want to drop a 3. Team's going to go down for a chat. Tempting to protect your shot, Rock. But you also knew that Jennifer Jones threw that previous shot for a reason. Leave the stone there. That means they intend to use it. So they're going to try to neutralize it, I think. Hit little inside roll.
So Wang-Ri. Every shot really now does matter.
Really working it. Oh, great shot. It's a little inside roll. Maybe they even overswept that one in fraction. But it does block the path to the shot, Rock. The thing for Canada is if you make the double, then the Canadian stone on the wing is easy pickings for China. It's wide open. Do not want to jam this one.
Go, 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 go. They're saying, is it out? Is it out? Yes, it is. And again, the crowd enjoying that one.
Let that one too.
Curled just enough. Hit the target stone pretty thick, but just thin enough to spin it out of the rings. And that was important because if they would have left the Chinese stone in the rings, China hits the open stone, lies 2. Absolutely forcing the Canadians. Zhang Yilin needs to stick around with this one. Can't roll out of the rings, otherwise it's a free shot for the Canadians to go around the guard. And there's the roll. Needs to stay in the rings. Needs to stay in the rings for the Chinese. But it rolls completely out of the rings.
And you can tell again by the reaction of the crowd what that shot means. Very, very important from a Canadian point of view that that did not stay in the rings.
Just went to
Yeah, this is thinking just there.
So now the strategy changes for Canada. No Chinese stones in the rings. It's a free shot to go around the center guard. Try to set up and get your 2 right here.
Steve's good here. He's sitting, but I think it's too close. You want bite the 4. Yeah. I think you want to let it settle in. I think I've got max ice here. Would you guys agree? You guys should take less? Feel like a hair less? Hey, Jen, just make this.
Jennifer Jones saying, do I have max ice? What she means there is at the maximum width of the broom target line. She knows she needs to get some cover behind the center guard, so ask Caitlin Loss to tighten up the target line just a fraction.
Line's good, line's good. Broom. Broom. Line's good, broom. Get it there, guys.
Easy, let her work if you can.
Line's great, get it there.
Needs to be 4 foot, Jill.
The crowd are willing this one on as well. There it goes. Very well placed.
Yeah, good shot. I wonder if it just may have overcurled a fraction. I wonder if it's available on the intern side for Jiang Yilun. McKeown, officer, sweeping this stone into the 4-foot circle. Very nicely done. Great weight by Jennifer Jones, just short of the 4-foot.
Catching their breath, the 2 sweepers there.
It's pretty tempting. And 2 options are try to thread the needle between the guards to remove the Canadian shot. Pretty tight hole though. So it will be the come around. She's going to draw around the stone just thrown by Jennifer Jones. She can get it all the way to the back of the 4-foot and still be shot rock. And there's the hole. It's not much of a hole. Very nice draw by Jennifer Jones. So can Jiang Yilun do one better?
Yep. It's not an easy one by any means.
Depends on the weight. The line looks great.
Is there enough on this? It's going to catch, is it?
Just overcurls a fraction.
It was so close to being very good.
I hate to play it and give up 1, but I also hate to draw and tap. Yeah. I like to hit it, yeah. Bumper? Okay.
So already lying 1.
I'd have to go wide and would be a complete guess.
Yeah, Jennifer Jones saying the draw's there, but I don't like it. I'd rather play the hit.
Just like just bumper.
Yeah, half? 3/4?
Yeah, about 3/4. Just bump, Caitlin.
Going to be hack weight, board weight for Jennifer Jones. Shot here for 2.
So last stone of this 9th end for Canada, and Jennifer Jones already 1 counting for Canada. Can they make it 2?
Good looking shot.
This would give them a 7-5 lead, and no problem at all. The crowd loving it now. Canada back in front by 2.
Huge deuce at this moment in the game for Canada.
Yep, Canada 7, China 5. After the 9th end, just 1 to go. Well, there's the latest on all the games for you. Just one game completed, 11-4 for the Czech Republic over Scotland. Denmark and Germany 4-all. And Japan and the United States 6-all. 7-5, of course, in our feature game. Going into this final end, the 10th end. And Canada picking up that 2 to give them that lead. A hammer back with China. But it's not been an easy game for Canada by any means. Taken all the way in this one. And not quite over yet.
Yeah, the pressure really on the lead players in this situation, Alison. Both Don McEwen and Yang Hui. Don McEwen wanting a stone in the rings, but does not want to slide behind the tee line. And Yang Hui needs to set really good guards. Like this stone as tight to the rings as they can get it. That's a longish corner guard. Some big rock here for Don McEwen. Just trying to sit one right in front of her own. She can get one there. Makes life really, really difficult for the Chinese. China must score 2 to force an extra end. 1 will not do it.
Or 3 to win.
3 to win's always in the cards as well.
But again, that's all about the setup play.
It is.
Having stones in play, key for China here.
China electing a second corner guard. Jennifer Jones walking up to take a look at the angles. Is there? But give it a go, Jennifer Jones says. Okay, Jill, might be able to get them both here. Hit a third. Treat it like a double takeout across the house.
Yep. Hard. Hard.
There's one.
Ooh.
There's 2. Spills it to the boards. Great shot by Jill Officer.
Give it a go, Jennifer Jones said, and she did. And really well played. You think she'd just won the game there?
That might have in fact been the game winner.
That was about a third. I hit it thicker than I thought.
Clearing both of the guards.
Crowd understanding the significance of removing both of those guards. And China really don't have anything to play with now.
No, they'll set 1, maybe 2 more guards. But then they'll have to deal with the stones in the rings and think about pushing them back in the house to try and generate some chance for a 2. What Jill Officer did with that double clear is take 3 right off the table.
Yep. Yep. Whoa.
Oops. 3's back on the table.
Quite a few twists and turns in this game, in these last few ends. A very uncharacteristic miss there. China still trying to build here. Want this one to come round.
Looking for a bit of cover behind that corner guard. Slides into the back of the 12-foot circle. Now Caitlin Laws had the task of clearing the guard.
Yeah, you're good. I just don't want to wreck the house. Yeah, it's just so good. Sorry.
Jennifer Jones still apologizing to Jill Officer. China's calling timeout.
Yeah, critical moment in the game for them. They need some discussion about their next move.
And their options are basically protect the stone in the back of the 12-foot, throw a guard in front of it. You could throw the double takeout right now and leave yourself lying 2. You could tap the red stone at the top of the 8-foot, push the stone at the front of the button back behind the tee line. Give yourself something to freeze to.
And here is the coach.
Yeah. Zhang Xijing coming down to provide some advice.
就是要不就往后旋一点，到那儿持平，别给他打波脚，头的8曲就上面一点，就别给他打，别让他够打那个打波就行，往下投一点。那粘一个。对呀、你粘一个错脚，就是你这时候粘一个错脚，别给他打波脚就行，明白我意思吧？对呀、你粘那个也行，别给他打波脚，就是你粘个外脚，旋下来也行，别给他打波脚。就你这个旋着粘的话。
I just feel like it's one shot too early to try the double takeout.
对，你就先奔3分看，看不着这局拿2分也行。对呀、不是你正常往8局后面旋，你怕他粘你吗？他粘你上面打个定2分。啊？
If you could tap the red straight back.
没就没了呗。
Red, red. Push the shot rock to the back of the 12-foot. China moving smartly. They must be a little bit tight on their time clock. They have 38 minutes of thinking time to complete all their shots.
But the coach interaction time doesn't count in that. But you don't want to rush this shot, do you?
She basically ran down to the hack and then jumped out of it again to throw.
You don't want to see that as a cause of a poor shot.
And this one looks heavy.
It is, you know.
Kind of contact.
It is, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, that's disappointing.
Yeah.
Very disappointing
Yeah.
from a China point of view.
Yeah. Entirely down to rushing it after the timeout.
Yeah, and she knows it.
That could be game over for China right there.
Just about stone removal here for Canada. Away it goes.
Now you must play a tap on the front stone, sit it right in front of it.
Oh, that's okay.
Basically generate a freeze. Hope that you can promote it.
She's retained her composure now, Wang Rui, because that was a very uncharacteristic mistake from her.
Well, they're electing a come around. They're not trying to hurt freeze here. They're going to go right around the pile. Sweeping it into second shot position in the back of the 8-foot. That's a pretty good shot.
Yeah. Like freezing?
Yeah.
There we see.
If I split the front.
Just even here. She's playing the
Jennifer
double.
Jones thinking about the
Like, we're
options.
just here so that the double, to get it to come back, she has to hit it
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah, even if we're here.
Yeah.
I think so. I think you want to sit one too.
It's pretty
Okay.
quick there. Yeah, it's 14 and a half. Got it. Speed's good here.
Jennifer Jones has to be careful. They want to get second shot, but she
So,
leaves it a little bit high. You give China a double takeout.
well, I could
Throw
try
it a
to
bit
run ours
deep.
back onto it.
China can make a double on the front stone.
So certainly not plain sailing for Canada here.
As long as we're back four, so sweep for the back four regardless of line.
And they do have that 7-5 lead.
What'd you guys get on hers? I missed it. 39. Okay, so it's good.
Jennifer Jones saying back 4 foot, and that's where she'd like the stone to come to rest.
Lots of line, Julie. I think it's all there. Line's good. Head back, back eight. Yep. Back eight, Caitlin.
This one's really starting to move now.
Back eight, back four. Good, get back to it. Right to it. No bounce.
Looking nice, looking nice.
I wonder if there's a triple takeout for China.
Could be, you know, actually. Just the angle on that that third stone.
Red slightly across the top of the stone at the top of the button. Push it on an angle.
Well, it would be quite a shot, wouldn't it?
Sure would. Now it's Canada calling timeout.
Well, a good bit of drama at the end of this encounter between these two
I don't
teams.
think we hit it. Like, if I ever pick our own out.
The only bad part for China is they push their own stone directly behind the Canadian shot in the front of the back of the 8 foot.
Right now, if I don't throw, she can make
Around double.
three.
You
I
ever
think
play
we
the
just-
same thing?
We're just saying, do we just guard that four? Oops,
Yeah.
sorry, Don. I just would hate to meet something where there's a triple. Like if we bring the play into
Yeah,
the house,
true.
I'd rather
Yeah.
her.
True. Or
Maybe
running
just
one of ours,
or
so-
I just pick
My
it,
other thought
but then
was
she
guard.
still's got this double.
Yeah.
I think we guard that four, eh?
You're
Guard the
guarding?
four.
Yeah, I think so. She doesn't have.
If I rip that
Really?
out, she has
She
this.
just has an easier shot at the double. So
Maybe as long as we're guarding any
Is that your
piece
shot?
of it.
yeah, I like
I
the
just gotta
guard.
make sure we guard the
I think
high
so.
side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, sorry, which side?
That side, your side.
Quick discussion. Yeah. Discussion, that's the guard.
Yeah, probably the best outcome from a Canadian point of view.
But even if she makes the guard,
Yeah, we're guarding their yellow. I'm taking a hair more ice.
Jiang Yilin will have some kind of a shot. Might be a really difficult one, but she'll have some kind of a shot to try and score two.
Because right now she's got to kind of. Yeah. You see where you need to be, hey? Close to the center line.
It's one of these ones where you're climbing the hack and you think, well, am I improving anything by throwing it?
Just over the hog line's not ideal.
Do I throw it all the way through?
Yeah, sometimes bouncing it off the sideboards is a better option, but you
So
just-
that was back eight. They tapped to the hair, right?
the guard is the call.
Crowd on the edge of their seats here.
I think it's light.
Just clean.
Line's
Clean
tight.
it. Clean it.
Line's tight. It needs to stop. Clean it, Dawn. Hard clean.
Hard clean. That's a pretty good line.
Hard clean.
As opposed to a soft clean.
Yeah. Pretty happy with that one.
So how do China get to here? With the way those stones are placed.
Can't look at this too long. Their time clock's a bit tight. They've got about a minute to throw this stone.
They've been thinking about it previously, though,
Yeah.
ahead of that guard.
The way that Wang Wei is looking at the angles, it's going to be red onto yellow, onto red, onto red. Try to pick it clean, get two that way. Tough, but makeable.
This
To
would be
make it, she has to hit just on the right-hand side of the nose. just a fraction.
This would be the shot of the round robin so far. If this came off, last stone of this 10th end. And Jiang Jilang, here she goes. One.
Not curling enough.
Not at all. It was the right thing to do, but a big ask for the China skip, and it is victory for Canada. Played a very, very professional last few ends. A little bit of a wobble, but they have secured their next victory. 9-5 the final score over China, and they remain unbeaten in this round robin. Thanking the family and the crowd for their support. And it's all good for Team Canada in the end, but goodness me, China took it all the way to them, didn't they?
They certainly did. Full credit to Zhang Yilun. They gave them everything, and really just that opportunity there in the 9th end to force Canada to come home one down with. But Jennifer Jones and Team Canada keep rolling along. They remain unbeaten.
And scoring 3 in that 6th end gave China a long haul on the way back, but they kept right in there. Played really, really well. Made some very, very good decisions, and really took Canada all the way. But it's another win. And you can see over to your right there, a victory there for the USA.
Well, I think
no, sorry, a victory for Japan.
Yep.
They've just changed the scoreboard there.
That's
We
right.
just saw the two teams shaking hands.
And drawing the button for the win on that one. So all kinds of drama happening here at the North Bay
and
Memorial
another
Gardens.
very tight game. So highlights of our featured match, 6th end. Canada in a good position here after the break. China with the final stone looking to limit the damage. And the shot with the tap was short. And a steal of 3. And Canada in the lead there for the first time. And in the 7th end, China facing 2 Canadian counters, forced to draw for 1. 5-4 Canada. In the 8th end, Jennifer Jones looking to blank this 8th end. Here it comes. But it was a complete miss and a steal of 1 for China. And now 5-5. Really tight game, this one. China were short with their draw, so Canada had this final stone for 2. And no problem there for Jennifer Jones. And Canada with a 2-shot lead going into the 10th end. And scoring setting up a difficult shot for the Chinese skip. She couldn't make it, and it was 2 to Canada, and a victory for Jennifer Jones and her Canadian team. 8-5, 9-5. And Canada remain unbeaten in this round robin. So there are the scores from the matches in session 7. Denmark and Germany are all square, 5-all. And the other scores are all results. 11-4 for the Czech Republic over Scotland. 9-5 in the game we've just watched. Canada over China, and Japan winning over the United States 7-6. And there we go. There are the standings. Canada and Sweden on top, 4-0. Korea 3-0, Japan there as well, 3-1, the same as Russia. Czech Republic getting their second win. And still those three teams towards the bottom with no wins as yet. Remember, 12 games in this round robin, so still an awful lot can happen. So that's it from Hans Foundler with me, Alison Walker. Hope you've enjoyed the action and our featured game. We'll see you for the next one. Bye for now.